Hey folks, this is Dr. K, and I wanted to walk through some of the code in the and make some changes to the Java Adventure Code starter. So I said in an announcement that I was going to finalize this repo, and that's true. I'm not adding anything else to the repo, but there are going to be things that I want you to do specifically to modify the code, but I'm going to walk through those either in a video like this, or I will send you an announcement with detailed instructions of what I want you to do to a particular file or something like this. Naturally, you'll be implementing your game at the same time. So for the purposes of what I'm usually going to talk about, I'm going to just stick with the locked out adventure game. So I've got it here, and this is my locked out adventure. And I will just run this. Okay, and we've seen this before. I'm actually in the intro room. There's a monolith there, and I can type X, Y, Z, Z, Y to get to outside house. Now, in the locked out adventure, it's entirely optional to you all if you want to include that intro room. You do not have to. I just included it because I thought it was a good example of how to implement an anonymous class in Java, which is what that the monolith is an object whose type is an anonymous class, and its super class is door. All right. So I'm outside the house, and notice that all of this is description right here. This is part of the description of the room, and this is generated by the program, and it depends what is in the room. This is the contents description. Okay, so the outside house room has essentially one thing in it, and actually I take that back. It has the outside house room actually has three things in it. Okay, it has the concrete step, which you see listed here. It also has the door. Okay, but doors are not part of this the contents description. I've excluded them from the contents description because usually you put doors in the regular description itself. And the player, okay, so you, the player, are in this room, but you aren't listed here, okay, because, you know, it's obvious that you're there. This is where you are, outside house. Okay, but here's the contents description. You see a concrete step here. So other than the player and the door, there is a concrete step, which is a kind of a container. I like to call these containers supporters because, like tables, they have things on top of them, whereas containers have things in them. So you can see that I worded this so there is a flower pot and a screwdriver on the step. That's because there is the contents prefix, and on the step is the contents suffix, and I just modified those, okay, when I created the concrete step. So in the flower pot, you see a beautiful. So there's two things on the step. There's one thing other than the player and the door in that room, which is the concrete step. There's two things on the concrete step: a flower pot and a screwdriver. And the flower pot itself is a container, and it has some chrysanthemums in it, some potting soil in it, and a silver key in it. And the silver key is going to be the thing that you're going to use to open the door. So if I have implemented take in the starter code, so if you I'm not going to take this silver key yet. I want to show you some things. If I move north here, it says the front door is closed. Okay. If I open door here, it says I don't recognize a game object with the name door. That's because your game objects, when you write them in the input field, they have to be the precise unique identifier for that game object. So I have to say open front door with the dash there. Okay, and it says the front door is locked, so I have to unlock front door. You don't have the correct key in your inventory to unlock the front door. Let's see what's in my inventory. It doesn't type out anything, but it would be nice if it says you're not carrying anything if you don't have anything in your inventory. The inventory is the player's a container too, so whatever's in the player's container, whatever the player's children are, that's what's in their inventory. Okay, so I didn't have the right key in my inventory, so I'm going to take the silver key. And again, I have to put the hyphen in there. It says you take the silver key, and now I'm going to try to unlock the door, unlock front door, and this should work. And it says you unlock the front door. And now I'm going to try to go north through the front door. The front door is closed, so now I can open the front door. Front door is now open, and I go north, and I'm in the kitchen. Okay, and I'm going to try to go south out to the outside house again, and I can do that. I can keep going north and south, north and south. What I do want you to notice is that when I am in the kitchen, it says you're in the kitchen, the front door to your house is south. So I want to make sure I put the direction there. And also, the front door is a child of kitchen. The front door is actually a child of two rooms. It's actually a child of kitchen, and it's a child of outside house room. And it's the same door. So we have some aliasing going on here when it refers to the same door. So if the outside house door is open, this door is open because it's the same door. And that's why I can just go south. Whoops. South. Okay, but one thing I can do here, and I don't really want to do, is I can examine the monolith. Okay, and the monolith is definitely not in this room. Okay, even as a hidden thing. I mean, it is a door, but it is not a child of this room, so I should not be able to examine it. I can examine the front door, and that should be perfectly fine. The front door to your house looks like an average door. I want to make a little change to that. But I don't want to be able to examine the monolith. I just want to be able to examine things that are in this room. Okay, I call those things things that are in scope. All right. Basically, there are things in this room. I should be able to examine it. I can type examine player, and it does examine the player, even though the player is not listed here. That's just a listing decision, but implicitly there's always a player, and you're the player. All right. So let's go fix this. I'm going to quit this. And I'm going to try to fix the inventory issue first. I want to be able to type I or inventory and get a listing of the player's inventory. And I thought I had done that, but apparently I didn't. But if I go to person right here, I do have an inventory method. Okay, and I just have world current message equals get contents description, and the prefix is you are carrying, and the suffix is just a period. So it should say you are carrying, etc. The only thing I don't like about this, if I'm not carrying anything, I want it to say that I'm not carrying anything. So let's just do if children is empty, then world current message equals you are not carrying anything. Okay, so that's if the world is empty, and then otherwise I'll just do this. All right, and this is here because I didn't finish the class. Let me reformat that. Okay, so if if you have no children, the player has no children, you say you are not carrying anything. And otherwise, the message is the contents description, which starts with you are carrying, ends with a period, and then lists those things in between there. So let me. So I still have to. It's not giving me anything for inventory. So I need to go back and fix the adventure controller. Okay, and that inventory is a one-word command. So I'm going to go up to here, these process single word input, and I'll just put inventory at the end here and put it in a case statement, and I'm going to put case I, and then right below it I'm going to put case inventory. So if I type I or inventory, it should run. I'm going to have it run world.player.inventory. Okay, and why does it do this? Why is this the way to have these two cases do the same thing? It's because there's no break statement after this I, so it just falls through to inventory. So regardless of whether you have case I or case inventory, it will fall through to world player inventory. You could put a break here, but it's not strictly necessary since it's the last one. Actually, it's good practice to put a break there. Okay, so let's see what happens when I do this, and let's see if it gives me. So X, Y, Z, Z, Y. And I'm going to take the screwdriver, and I'm going to take the silver key. So I'm just going to do inventory. You are carrying a screwdriver and a silver key. And notice this description changed, right? It says you see a concrete step here. There is a flower pot on the step. It no longer says there's a flower pot and a screwdriver because I took the screwdriver. Okay, in the flower pot you see chrysanthemums, potting soil, but no silver key because I took it. All right. So fantastic. I can go inside the house. So I'm going to say that inventory is successfully implemented now. One side note is that I can take things in this game. I cannot drop things in this game. All right, and that's not a big deal. A lot of the old adventure games like King's Quest and stuff like that, you basically just took something and it went in your inventory until you used it for the puzzle you needed to solve, and then it disappeared from your inventory. It's perfectly fine to do things that way. If you want to implement a drop command, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but you can get by certainly without doing it in the locked out adventure. Okay, and just to note, a final note, that these were based on questions asked by Jimmy, and you can see that on Piazza in question 241, and we talked about inventory, excuse me, and we talked about ways to scope things out. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about scoping and how to only be able to look at or access or interact with game objects that are in the current room.